everyone, and welcome to another talk. My name is Matthew Kilgore, and today we are talking about concurrent pseudo-random number generators. This was my project for 6.875 area, which is cryptography. So, a fundamental issue with a lot of cryptographic constructs is that they're serial algorithms. For example, pseudo-random number generators. Like a surprise, they rely on sequences of computations in which one can't be done until the other finishes. Not much room for either parallelism or even thread safety. And this has really only changed recently with a lot of the space crypto systems and other homomorphic schemes, which offer a theoretical degree of parallelism, which is non-negligible. So naturally, there are a lot of people attempting to implement these systems. One such endeavor is PALISADE, which we will introduce to for this project. PALISADE is an open source, BSD licensed space encryption library. It is being funded by a DARPA grant, so it's quite a big deal. And it's written in C++ 11, so everyone should be able to use it. However, right now it has minimal parallelism. Why? Well, because they have one major roadblock. They have difficulty in getting concurrent pseudo-random number generation. We are going to look into this problem. So, concurrent pseudo-random number generation is not a new issue. It's been relevant to parallel Monte Carlo simulations, for example, and several libraries attempt to provide this functionality. One of the more notable ones is the scalable parallel pseudo-random number generators library, or PRNGS. Quite the mouthful, I know. So PRNGS is one of the oldest such libraries. The original paper, I believe, was from 2000, and it's very widely used. However, it has two drawbacks. First is that it's dependent on a pretty bulky message passing interface, and the PALISADE team, and really any good developer, would want to avoid such dependencies. Moreover, we couldn't find any real guarantees as to the cryptographic quality of PRNGS output. And in fact, all of the concurrent pseudo-random libraries that we looked at had the same issue. We either couldn't guarantee the quality, or it had a massive dependency, or both. An alternative that we looked at was the much more recently developed pedigree-based pseudo-random number generation. This is a model which breaks code into strands, sequences of instructions executed sequentially. Each strand has a pedigree, a deterministic identifier, which is scheduler independent. And the key idea is that these pedigrees are used in a pseudo-random number generator. Now, because pedigrees are deterministic, this is very robust with respect to testing. It's also a pretty fast scheme. And the creators were able to give us some guarantees as to the quality of its output. However, support for categories is very much in its infancy. In particular, we couldn't really figure out how to get it to run on Windows. The method that we ultimately used was brought our attention by, of all things, a Stack Overflow post. Namely, we can use a thread local keyword to ensure that each thread has its own separate serial random number generator. Now, this isn't a good requirement from a memory standpoint. We don't really store a lot of copies. Moreover, if we are careful, we can cause some pretty nasty memory leaks. However, this approach provides a pretty straightforward and useful solution. Biggest question is simply how to select each thread's serial random number generator. Now, PALISADE, in its current iteration, bases all of its number generation on a PRNG code MT19937. Now, this is a widely used and strong serial random number generator. It's not secure though. If you observe 624 consecutive outputs, you can completely break it. Still, it's very widely used and is sufficient for most purposes. In particular, though, it is a specific configuration of parameters for the Mersenne Twister algorithm, which was developed by Matsumoto and Nishimura in 1998. And we use this general algorithm in our concurrent iteration of PALISADE. So, to understand the Mersenne Twister, we're going to fix W as the length of a word, and we're going to view words as row vectors over F2. We're also going to need integers n and r such that 2 to the nw minus r minus 1, is a Mersenne prime. So, the Mersenne Twister works by generating an internal sequence of words, xk, and the output number is a tempered version of xi, and the internal sequence is defined by this interesting recurrence. Xk plus n is equal to xk plus n, actualized with this weird quantity. Here m is a positive offset, and that weird quantity is the w minus r upper bits of xk with the r lower bits of xk plus 1, all times this mysterious a. And here, in that recurrence, a is a w by w matrix over F2. It's called the twist transformation, hence the name Mersenne Twister. And A has value this. It's almost an identity matrix. The diagonal just above the main diagonal is 1s, and the bottom row is the series of values, which we usually view as a single word, A. Now, this choice of A, that is big A, is for very quick multiplication. X times A is right shifted if it's the least significant bit. The rightmost value in its row vector form is 0, and if it's 1, we still right shift by 1, but we also XOR with A. Now, to or XK, we perform the following computation. We set YK equal to XK, XORed with the quantity XK, right shifted by U, and bitwise ANDed with D. Then we're gonna have YK be XORed with itself left shifted by S and bitwise ANDed by B. And then we're gonna do that right shift trick again with two new values, T and C. And finally, we're gonna have YK be XORed with itself simply right shifted by L. So here, the newly increased variables, or 7 of them, are as follows: B, C, D are temporal bit masks. Now note that D wasn't in the original specification by Matsumoto and Nishimura, and in fact it's usually all ones. The UST and L are called temporal bit shifts. So this is the temporal phase. So there's only one other thing to do, and let's initialize the first n elements of the integer sequence. To do that, we take x0 as the seed and compute xi equal to f times xi minus 1 XORed with xi minus 1 right shifted by w minus 2 and then added to I. Here f is yet another parameter. So, now that we are familiar with the general Mersenne algorithm, we can use the parameters for MT19937. So WN, M, and R are 32, 6, 24, 397, and 31. As you might guess, WN minus R is in fact 19937. Now, A, the bottom of the matrix, is this seemingly random value, 9908B0DF, that's in hex. U and D are 11, and FFF. As I said, D is all ones, so it doesn't really do anything. S and B are 7, and this seemingly gibberish number, 9D2C 5680, and T and C are 15, and yet another apparently gibberish number, EFC 60000. L is 18, and F is this very large number, 18124332553. So, a lot of these sound like, as I said, seemingly random gibberish, but they were in fact pretty carefully chosen. That's because of this matrix. Every Mersenne twister is associated with the NW minus R by NW minus R matrix B, which is, again, a somewhat offset identity matrix with an actual identity matrix embedded M-box down, and in the bottom left corner there's this matrix X, which in box form is 0, identity R, identity W minus R 0, all times A. Pretty massive, pretty confusing. It comes from the type of algorithm that the Mersenne twister is. It's called the twisted generalized feedback shift register. Now, the guarantee about the Mersenne Twister comes from B's characteristic polynomial phi, and this guarantees the period of the Mersenne Twister's output. It is 2 to the NW minus R if an order phi is primitive. And as you would guess, this is the case for MT19937. As a result, it has a massive period. Now, that period is useless if it's not evenly distributed. That's where the second guarantee comes in. Given a pseudo-random sequence X of period P over W bit words, look at the quantitation of X with respect to B to be the upper V bits of X, and consider P of these KV bit vectors, which is the quantitation with respect to V of k consecutive elements of X. If these are equally distributed over all possible bit values, with the exception of the R0 one, which appears one source, then we say Xk is k distributed to V-bit accuracy. So, in other words, it appears relatively evenly distributed, like a random number generator should. Well, surprise, surprise, MT19937 is pretty good at this. It's closely distributed to V-bit accuracy for all V. Pretty impressive, isn't it? Now, if you're wondering what the greatest determinant of k distributed is, then it is in fact the tempered parameters. That's where all those seemingly gibberish numbers came from to achieve this result. And in fact, in their paper they showed it's relatively easy to optimize those parameters. Now, Matsumoto and Nishimura knew about parallel Monte Carlo simulations and wanted to find a way to use Mersenne Twister in a distributed environment. They came up with a system called the Dynamic Creator. Sounds impressive, right? And it was based on this hypothesis. Two Mersenne Twisters should produce independent streams of numbers if their characteristic polynomials are relatively prime. Now, this is only a hypothesis, but they seem to believe it was a fairly likely one, and we will trust them. So, they can transform this idea into a sandwich on input W and the Mersenne prime to the NW minus R minus 1 when given the 16-bit identifier ID does as follows. First, we set M to be n over 2, unless n is really small, then we just decide to be n minus 1. Next, we set the lower 16 bits of A to the identifier. Third, we pick a random word to fill out the rest of A. Then we check if 5B is not irreducible. If it is, we're good. Finally, we're going to set D to be all ones, because we are, no one ever uses D. And then we're going to try to optimize the tempering parameters. Now, because M and W and O are fixed, and because all the A's are different, this means that every E configuration generated will have a unique phi B, and because it's irreducible, they will trivially be relatively prime. Now, this is not by any means efficient. We're just randomly searching for a phi B. And indeed, we were forced to use NWSO equal to 521, which is much lower than usual. However, there are some pretty obvious ways we can speed this up. The polynomial doesn't have to be irreducible per se. We just need to ensure relative primality. And we can do that by keeping track of things that are already generated. That should speed things up. But even without that, this cost is only paid on initialization. Thus, we speculate that dynamic creator would probably work well for PALISADE. To test this hypothesis, we have first came up with two metrics to measure the output of the Mersenne Twisters that dynamic creator creates. Throughput, which we would measure in the time in clock cycles to generate 2 to 30 integers, and apparent randomness of output, which we would measure by running the Dieharder-er battery of randomness tests on the aforementioned 2 to 30 integers. There are also 3 natural benchmarks to compare this to: the current system already in PALISADE, a globally locked version of the PALISADE code, and thread over instances of MT19937 with different seeds. So the throughput results were as follows. Serial took time 62 million clock cycles. Lock took time 1.5 billion. The thread over MT19937s took about 90 million. And the dynamic creator took a horrifying 9.3 billion clock cycles. So yeah, that's a pretty big strike against the dynamic creator. Slowing down to that much is just not acceptable. However, that being said, we believe a fair amount of the slowdown is due to the implementation of it that we used. Matsumoto and Nishimura have an implementation up on their website, and it's pretty ancient code. It compiles, but for reference, their code uses an internal instance of MT19937, and it was similarly so. So we do believe with some careful examination, we can improve this. And yes, we will be looking into this in the future. The statistical tests were a bit more surprising. We ran Dieharder-A of the tests on a binary file containing the numbers It was either Silhouette, Thread Local, or Dynamic Creator. And the results were as follows. The Concurrent passed all but 6 tests. The last version passed all but 2. The Thread Local instances passed all but 6. And the Mersenne Twisters, created by Dynamic Creator, passed all but 2. Well, the last version, doing better than the normal version, isn't really a surprise. It amounts to a rearranging of the order of the code, but the relatively poor performance of the Thread Local MT1937s was quite a surprise. Moreover, the way Dieharder is set up, even with a perfect RNG, it's still not fair, or rather than a weak result, 1% of the time. As a result, these results were encouraging, but not exactly conclusive. So, we decided to run a second, more stringent test. We only looked at the code code and the Dynamic Creator. This time we generated 2 to the 32 numbers, so 4 times as many. And we had Dieharder use a 4 times multiplier, and it got the following results. PALISADE passed all but 5 tests, so a bit better. Moreover, 2 of the weak results were also weak in the first test, so it might genuinely be weak here. Dynamic Creator passed all but 3, so all the worse. However, there were different tests from before, which indicates the results were possibly false. So as a result, we do believe Dynamic Creator is an empirical improvement over the current code in terms of output quality. Now we do plan to continue this work to get more results. We learned to run the more stringent tests on the locked and Thread Local versions, but we simply ran out of time. We'd also like to work into speeding up Dynamic Creator, both inherently and implementation specific. And we do hope to do those relatively soon. So with that, here's everything we referenced. If you have any questions, please ask.